Hey guys, this is Emily,
And Ashley.
and this is Full Body Frights. Tonight we're going to be discussing the 1987 slasher movie Hide and Go Shriek, as well as disappearances in the national parks in America, as well as the conspiracies that surround them. So let's get into it. So, Ashley, what do you think we should discuss first, the movie or the mystery?
I think we should go ahead and do Hide and Go Shriek first, the movie.
Okay, so I will start off by reading the back of my wonderful VHS copy of Hide and Go Shriek because it is my favorite slasher movie. So the back says, "Close your eyes, count to 10, and run for your life. Hide and Go Shriek is one game you'll be dying to finish. 8 friends sneak into a furniture store for an all-night graduation party. A game of hide and seek turns into a grisly nightmare as members of the group are murdered one by one, leaving the others to the chilling realization that they could be next. In the terrifying tradition of Friday the 13th and Halloween comes Hide and Go Shriek, a horrifying game of life and death." Yeah. There is a lot more to this movie than just what it says on the back. We have a killer that is a cross-dresser, and we have a red herring in it as well. So, what did you think of it?
Honestly, I did not like it at all. It was boring to me. And I was like, I don't understand. When you first start watching it, you will not understand why it's called Hide and Go Shriek. And I was like, where is
Why
this hide and
not? They play hide and seek.
Yeah, but you don't find that out until later on in the movie.
Well, I mean, what are they going to do? Start out playing hide and seek at the beginning of the movie? I mean,
But like, okay, so the beginning of the movie, it started off really crazy with a prostitute getting killed. And I'm like, I hope this ties in somewhere.
cut to,
Oh, yeah, it cuts to these teenagers who's graduating high school.
and they are going to their friend's dad's furniture store. They're going to sneak in and stay overnight. And by the way, there are a bunch of mannequins in the store, which I've never seen a furniture store with mannequins in it, but
They do talk about
they
that,
do they do talk about it, yeah. So that I thought was creepy. I thought the mannequins were creepy. So they start playing hide and seek, which is the reason that it's called Hide and Go Shriek. And some of them, instead of playing hide and go shriek, hide and seek, they decide they're gonna have sex and stuff because it's a slasher movie. And one of them is a virgin, so she wants to lose her virginity for the first time at a furniture store, which is beyond me, but whatever. And so they all start getting killed, but they all don't know they're getting killed because they're playing hide and seek. So, or they're supposed to be. So
The furniture store has 3 levels, so
yeah, it's a huge store.
yeah.
And we have a really good striptease in it too.
I
It's
wanted
ridiculous.
to talk about that. I was like, first of all, like, what is she wearing to?
Oh, she's wearing the frumpiest. Well, okay, she's wearing really frumpy clothes anyway. And then when she takes off her clothes, it's the 80s.
But I was like, okay, why is she putting these high heels on?
She has the shortest torso. Also, did you notice that?
No, because I was like, why is she putting on high heels with them ugly shorts and that shirt? Like, what is going on here?
Yeah, it's ridiculous. But so the guy that owns the furniture store, his name is John, and he is his girlfriend is Bonnie, and she's the worst actress of all time, probably. So, well, but they don't die first, obviously. We have these 2 other characters that die, and then the killer starts dressing up in
Their clothing.
their clothes. First, I think he dresses up, though, in a mannequin's clothes. And then after he kills the first girl, he starts dressing up in their clothes.
Yes. He dresses up in, what was Melissa?
Melissa, yeah.
He dressed up
Dinosaur earring girl.
He dressed up in her clothes first, and then he goes and kills Sean.
And I don't know why. I guess it's because I saw it in high school, and when I was in high school, I really I didn't have a boyfriend, and I was like, oh my god, this would I would look at horror movies, slasher movies, and be like, I want to go there and with my boyfriend and have sex for the first time. I would romanticize these movies, which I don't. But this was the main one I did it with, and I don't know why, but I thought I was Judy, even though I would have dressed better than her. So, the one that wears the horrible lingerie and clothes in general, she's just, and also the thickest bangs I've ever seen. She has really thick bangs. So we end up finding out, spoiler, there's a guy living in the furniture store that John's dad had hired, and he was just out of jail, and the kids don't know that he's there. So you're supposed to think he's the killer when he's obviously not going to be.
Well, I mean, we find that early on that the dad hired an ex-convict anyways.
Yeah, he's been in there since the beginning.
Yeah, but they want you to think that he's the killer because, even on the cover of the VHS, there shows a snake tattoo on the foot.
Which is on him, right?
Yeah, but it's on his hand.
Oh, yeah, it is. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So they don't know he's there. He doesn't know he knows someone's in there, but he thinks it's people trying to burglarize the place. So he's going to go try to take care of things.
Yeah. So that's what he thinks at first. Because, when he does find the kids, the owner's son isn't with him. So, of course, he thinks they are trying to rob the place.
And then there's a fight with them.
Yeah.
And him. But when we see the real killer, it ends up being the guy from the beginning that kills the prostitute that was putting lipstick on in the opening. And he's been dressing up in all of the girls' clothes. My favorite being when he dresses up in Kim's clothes. She's the girl with the blonde hair and the big boobs. And
the porn star boobs.
Yeah, he takes off her clothes, but he puts her on top of the elevator. So, but the kids don't know. Kids don't know that she's tied to the elevator with her mouth gagged, even though you could still make noise, whatever. But my favorite scene is when they walk up and he's dancing, and they think it's Kim dancing from the back, and then he runs across the screen and giggles. That's my favorite part of the whole movie. I thought it was so funny. But that death is really good because the killer does not actually kill Kim.
Oh yeah,
the other kids kill Kim because they get on the elevator and her head falls off, and it's a really good decapitation, by the way.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Oh, yeah.
But I will say, yes, it is my favorite slasher, but there aren't a whole lot of deaths. So we have the girl with the dinosaur earrings. She dies.
Mm-hmm.
Her nerdy kind of got set up on a date guy, Sean.
Mm-hmm.
The dad's son, John, he dies. Is that?
Porn star boob girl.
Oh, porn star boob girl. Yeah, she dies. Kim. But then we have Judy and David. They're the couple that she's losing her virginity. I don't know about him. Randy with the buzz cut. Bonnie, the most annoying character. So they're still alive. And they decide they're going to fight back, which I think is a really fun idea because usually in horror movies like this, it's the final girl. We don't have a final girl. We have a final group that's going to go after this guy. However, they think that it's the ex-convict Fred and not Zach.
Yeah, that's his name, Zach. Yeah.
So you find out at the end when Fred is approached with Zach that Zach was his boyfriend in prison, and he came back because he wanted to make a home with Fred.
That was cute, but
it was not cute. It was it's insane.
No, it's cute that it's like a little love story. Yeah, and it is progressive for the 80s for them to even showcase gay lovers.
Yeah, and I think you would probably call him a cross-dresser who is gay. I don't think he was trans.
Yeah, well,
maybe he was, but he didn't come off. He didn't say that. He pretty much said he was a man, but was his girlfriend, I guess.
Yeah, and they had the matching tattoos.
Oh yeah, I didn't even realize they were matching. I mean, I know that they both had the tattoos.
The snake tattoos.
But and another thing about this movie is it's set in a really gritty and dark, like, downtown area, which I usually don't like, but I love it. And there is a scene where they almost get away. They're, like, banging on the window because there's someone outside that could see them.
Yeah, that homeless man.
People. And then are there police that walk by too or something?
The police drive up to the homeless man, and the cop was like, I don't even want to fool with him tonight. Let's go. But the reason why no one can hear them is because the store has been robbed before. So I guess the owner's right-hand man put in, like, some strong plexiglass or whatever.
Yes, shatterproof and soundproof, which I don't know if you could make it that. I mean, it's when it shows them, it's silent. Like, I don't know if you could make it that silent. Like, wouldn't they hear something, like a beat, like a knock or something? I don't know. But so at the end, we have a showdown between Fred and Zach, which is really ridiculous, the way that Zach talks to Fred. And he ends up falling down the elevator shaft. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And so we have three living people. Well,
four.
No, Fred doesn't live. Fred gets stabbed or something.
I thought it was four.
Well, there's John. He dies. Randy. Oh, David. I was forgetting about David. David's the fourth one. Judy's boyfriend. So it's Randy, David, Judy, and Bonnie. They all survive. And Fred ends up dying. And then the very last shot, we see the ambulance taking them away. And guess who's driving the ambulance?
Zach.
Yes.
And then that laugh.
So go on about your disdain for this movie.
Okay, so it was just boring, basically, to me. It was boring. It took too long to get going. It was bad. What I did like about the movie was when they go down to the basement and they're, like, freaking out, and one of them, I don't remember who, she opens up, like, a storage closet, and then, like, Sean and Melissa fall out, and when Sean hits the ground and it pans back to him, you can visibly see him breathing. I love seeing stuff like that in movies where it's not supposed to be. I love the plot twist where Zach and Fred were gay lovers. I love that. At one point, I thought John was going to be the hero because he was basically beating the crap out of Zach, and I thought he was going to win for a second. And I really thought it was hilarious that Kim has some porn star boobs in high school.
Yeah, well, none of them look like they're in high school. So,
well, Melissa and Zach, they look like they were like 16.
Zach,
not Zach.
Sean.
Sean.
Yeah.
That's
yeah.
Them were the only ones that I thought was like, okay, yeah, they're like high school kids, but
I don't think they were though. But I don't know. I like slasher movies because of the parts that they're like. I like the parts where no killing is going on. I don't like them because of that, but I like those scenes. Like the scene in Sleepaway Camp where they have the softball game that goes on for a really long time. Like, I love that scene. Like, I like it when they're just, like, having fun. I guess it goes back to me, like, romanticizing them and being like, I wish that I had a group of friends that could break into a furniture store and hang out all night. And
I did like that part.
I was like, I don't know.
I wish one of my friends in high school family owned a furniture store or something and we could go and get drunk. I mean, like, what kid didn't want to do stupid stuff like that?
I know. Well, I was in high school, so I was like, yeah, I want to do that. And I want to find the love of my life because, you know, in my head, David and Judy were going to be together forever. So stupid. So I guess, do you want to talk? Obviously, you know that I love this movie.
Yeah.
Do you have anything else you want to say about your opinion on the movie? The kills were good, although they were few and far between, and some of them were a little dark. They were inventive. I mean, the sink one where there's a girl that gets drowned in the sink.
That's Melissa. That's the first kill of the group of teenagers. Melissa.
But it's like you see it from underneath the sink, which is pretty cool.
And then I'm like, he's just like beating her head in water, and then there's blood. And I'm like, where's this blood coming from? Because he's just dunking her head underwater.
Against the sink, I guess.
I didn't hear it hit the sink. Did you hear it hit the sink?
I mean, I assumed it did, I guess, when I saw blood.
That's
and his Sean's death is good, where he falls on
the spikes. Yeah,
I
did like
John
that one.
had a good death, kind of.
I like the elevator death.
Yeah, no, that, and we'll talk more about the special effects guy, because he did a really good job with that, because it does. I didn't really. Usually, when there's a decapitation, you can really tell it's like a head model, like your a plaster cast. But I didn't think you could really tell in this one. I mean, obviously, I knew it was fake, but. So we can get into I have some trivia.
Okay.
Not a lot, because this movie is not very well known, and for a long time it was really hard to get. So I have a lot of information about the actors that were in it, more so than the other stuff. But apparently in the UK it was called Close Your Eyes and Pray, and it was cut by 50 seconds for a long time until they put it back out, I think in 2004. 50 seconds is a really long time to be cut out of a movie.
What did they take out?
Probably the entire head decapitation. They probably cut every single death scene.
It's just going to make for a really boring movie.
Yeah. And here, even in America, they cut 10 seconds to get an R rating. And that was a lot of the decapitation. There was more of like her head rolling and stuff like that. So they originally had that cut. So it was shot in an abandoned warehouse. It took 3 weeks in the summer of 1987, and it only had a budget of $300,000, which is pretty good considering what they did with it. The lighting could have been a lot worse in that dark building.
Oh, I thought the lighting was perfect.
Yeah, and I mean, the deaths were good. The acting was... There were some people that did okay.
I didn't think her acting was that bad.
Bunky Jones, a.k.a. Bonnie. Oh my gosh, she's the worst.
I didn't think so.
I don't understand.
How would you feel if
I don't know? I wouldn't act like that though.
You'd be like, I don't understand what's going on.
Well, I wouldn't be like crawling. She like just wails for like 20 minutes of the movie. She's just like going around. She doesn't know, like she can't get it together. And everyone's like, you have to fight with us. And she's like, I can't. And it's like, everyone else is like, you have to.
Her boyfriend just got killed.
Well,
she loved him.
Yeah, she was going to get married to him or whatever. I mean, whatever. You're in high school, you'll find someone else. Okay. So it was released limitedly in November of 87. And then again in February of 88. And then it came out on video in April of 1988 in America. And the VHS cost $79, which is a lot, but I think a lot of VHS around that time were pretty expensive because they were only selling them to like rental stores and stuff like that. Because most people didn't have a VCR. The director, Stuart Skip Skolnick, his first directing job, or not first directing job, but he was an editor on Halloween 2. Which I thought was interesting. He directed a lot of episodes of the show Angel, and he's produced episodes of Sons of Anarchy and The Walking Dead. And I told you I was going to talk to you about the special effects guy. It was Screaming Mad George. He's this Japanese guy that does awesome special effects. He has done them for Predator, Nightmare on Elm Street 3 and 4, Society, Bride of Reanimator, Beyond Reanimator, Children of the Corn Part 3, American Werewolf in Paris, Silent Night, Deadly Night 4 and 5. And he's famous for his latex effects, which is probably why the head decapitation was pulled off so well. And I also read that he had Annette Sinclair, who played Kim, porno boob, the girl that got her head cut off. He had her do her own makeup on her fake head, so it would look real.
Oh, that's neat.
Which I think is cool. And then I'll quickly go over some roles that some of the actors in this movie have been in. Sean Kanan, who played John, this was his first movie, but he went on to be in General Hospital, Bold and the Beautiful, Young and the Restless, and he was the villain in Karate Kid 3. The guy that plays Randy with the buzz cut, I knew him already when I saw this movie because he is in Slumber Party Massacre Part 3, and he plays a really big role in that movie. The guy that played Sean, the nerdy guy, I remembered him from being in a few episodes of Beverly Hills 90210, and he was also in an episode of Tales from the Crypt, Growing Pains, and Evening Shade. So then we have some kind of whatever. The girl that played Judy was in some other horror movies like Shallow Grave, Bloodbath, and Psychotown. Bunky Jones, my fave. She was in a bunch of episodes of Dynasty. She was in The Kindred, and she was in the movie Grotesque with Linda Blair. But she was credited as Bunky Z in that movie. So, and she died in 2015 at the age of 49, which I found interesting, but I could not find out how she died. The girl that played Melissa with the dinosaur earrings, she actually got her big break doing gymnastics in a tampon commercial. And then she was in Candyman, but I think she was like a secondary character because her name was Monica. The killer, Zach, he didn't do much after this. So, but the guy that played Fred, the ex-con, he was the coroner in Nightmare on Elm Street, and he played a paramedic in Nightmare on Elm Street 4. But then he went on to produce, like, listen to this, Face Off, City of Angels, Snake Eyes, 8mm, Bringing Out the Dead, all with Nicolas Cage. So I don't know if he had, like, a thing with Nicolas Cage or what. But he also co-produced Slither, which I really liked, Haunting in Connecticut 1 and 2, and Pitch Perfect 1 and 2. So
I like Haunting in Connecticut 1, and I love Pitch Perfect.
Have you seen Slither?
No.
It's good. I think you'd like it. It's kind of a monsterish movie, but which I usually don't like, but it's pretty well done. So you hated it, which I kind of figured. So have fun with the rest of my movies that I pick because they're all 80s slashers.
I love 80 movies. I really do. It's just this one was boring.
Well, I don't think so, but I also have nostalgia with it. Evil Laugh is the other one I don't know if you'll like, but we're definitely doing it.
Didn't you broadcast that on one of the Facebook pages? Evil Laugh or something?
Yeah, I've broadcast Hide and Go Shriek also.
Yeah, I didn't really. Like I said, it was boring. But I think Evil Laugh, I think I watched like the ending of Evil Laugh.
It's supposed to be like silly. I mean, it's not a good movie, but it's cheesy, but it's supposed to be kind of funny.
I love cheesy 80s
It's
horrors.
a precursor to Scream. It has a lot of Scream.
What, Evil Laugh?
Yeah, like it has a guy that knows all the horror movie tropes. So we'll be doing that one soon. Anyway, I guess we'll walk straight into something more serious, but maybe not. Maybe not.
Okay.
The disappearances in
National Forest,
in
National
America,
Park.
or National Forest or Park, yeah.
Yeah,
but
in America.
only in America, yeah.
Okay.
Well, I guess they're not national parks, or what are they called in other countries? I don't know. Whatever. I guess they're called national. I don't know. Anyway, I don't really care. I don't camp.
Yeah, I don't camp either.
I hate the outdoors, so you won't be finding me like disappeared unless like Bigfoot exists. So
oh God, you just had to bring up Bigfoot. Like I don't do camping at all, so you can't find me camping. But I love to go hiking and see nature. So I could possibly,
No.
I could possibly disappear like this. That's not funny. God. Okay, so
and we thought Hide and Go Shriek would be the funny part.
I know, yeah, it was like more serious for Hide and Go Shriek, and yeah, I don't know.
Well, we had a lot to get. You have to watch Hide and Go Shriek. Really, honestly, don't listen to her. It's so good, and also we left a lot out, so you really need to see it. It's pretty crazy. So.
It's boring.
It's kind of crazy though, like the storyline.
I mean, I love the plot twist.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy. Anyway, go ahead. National Forest, disappeared, dead, whatever.
Well, not all of them.
Well, I know, but
this is more up my alley instead of that boring slasher.
She believes in Bigfoot.
I didn't say that. But David Paladis. David Paladis does. He believes Paladis. That's what it was. Yeah. David Paladis. He believes in Bigfoot, but he is also the one who really brought attention to the disappearances in national parks. He has wrote 8 books. The written. Movie Missing 411.
Written.
Wrote written. Whatever.
Sorry, my parents were English teachers. I'm sorry.
I was.
Oh God!
Okay.
I sound like an
Let me start
asshole.
over.
I'm sorry.
He has written 8 books. Is that better?
Yeah.
He has written 8 books. A movie is out. You can watch it on YouTube, and
It's free. Yeah.
Yeah, and you have ads on YouTube, and
I don't.
sucks.
But
Yeah, because you pay.
Yeah, I pay.
I don't. I'm cheap. Okay, and it's on YouTube, and it's called Missing 411. Other books are Missing 411. One of them is called Hunters, and then The Hunted. Blah blah blah. Who really cares?
I guess the people that might want to read them.
They're 8 books. All you have to do is just find Missing.
David Paulides, Paulides, and then you can find his books.
All you have to do is really look for Missing 411, and it will bring up all 8 books. He's a retired police officer. Some rangers, 2 different rangers at 2 different parks, brought it to his attention about 10 years ago. And they're like, hey, we were just chit-chatting, and we noticed that we've had a lot of people go missing in these parks with similar circumstances.
Why was he talking to him, though? Like,
they came up to him.
Where, though?
He doesn't
Was
say.
he already, like, writing and stuff like that, or was he, like, investigating
No, he doesn't say. He doesn't say.
Oh, okay.
He said that.
So just, like, random 2 rangers came up to him and was like, hey, FYI, write some books.
No, they didn't say write books, but he was like, this is weird. We find this weird. I guess because they knew him and knew that he was a retired police officer.
Okay, that's why.
I mean, that would make sense.
That I didn't know that part. So,
and they were like, hey, so we find this kind of strange, like similar circumstances. Nobody's really bringing attention to it. It's just weird. And then, David really goes in deep in this rabbit hole. And
oh yeah. I didn't even look that far into it, and he's like down in there.
Yeah, you're like, nope, I'm out.
Yeah, I know. I was like, dude, that's this dude. Bye.
I mean, there was like so many. There's some police phone calls. In the movie, they talk about a kid named Bobby. He was a camper like in the 80s, I believe. He was like partially deaf. And David was like, most of the people that have disappeared have some type of disability or ailment. And he says he doesn't.
Element?
Yeah.
Disability or element? What's an element?
A disability or the elements. Or the elements of.
What elements? Like the elements of the woods?
Yeah, the weather.
Oh, they've disappeared because of disability or because of the elements.
Yeah.
I thought you were talking about elements like it was like a part of a disability.
What elements are part of a disability?
What are you talking about? Like,
there's weather elements that are part of disabilities?
I thought you meant physical disabilities.
Oh.
Like being blind and then another element.
Why would you be in the freaking woods blind?
Hello, all of our blind listeners that go hiking, you can email her at. I'm just kidding.
No, but like the people that have disappeared, they have ventured off on their own. Do you think a blind person is going to venture off on their own?
Well,
in the
yeah,
woods?
because they might accidentally, because they can't see the trail.
Somebody is going to be with them.
Maybe.
Well, like Bobby, he was like partially hearing impaired, and one of the counselors came to get him. He was fishing. He liked to fish, and was like, hey, it's dinner time. And they're like, oh, okay. So they start walking downhill. It was like a straight shot.
Wait, was he at like a camp?
It wasn't really like a camp. It was like a church thing that somebody did.
Oh, okay. So it was like a retreat or something like that?
It was like for boys.
Oh, okay.
Church and boys. Anyway.
Church and boys. Not a good mix in the Catholic Church.
I don't even. Yeah, just listen to it and listen to the name of the church that was. Anyways, so the counselor starts walking back down, and then he turns around. I'm assuming to say something to Bobby or whatever, and Bobby's gone. He disappears, and then like a year later, they find his body somewhere else where he didn't disappear to. Same circumstances, clothes next to him. I mean, it's just crazy.
Yeah, talk about the circumstances that they're found. Usually it's like uphill and then...
Yeah, like some of them, not all of them, some of them are like uphill, miles away from where they disappeared. Their clothes are folded next to them and they're laying in their own throw up.
Yeah, so they're like face down naked.
Not all the way naked. They still have like underwear
I thought,
on.
Okay. Well,
but their clothes are folded. Yeah,
they've taken them off and folded them. Or someone has, I guess.
Yeah. Well, Emily's...
I don't know if it's someone else. I mean, it could be, but...
You just think they just got hypothermia and...
I do think it's weird that they like a lot of people will say that they were like right next to them
Mm-hmm.
and then turned around and they were gone. Like, how would you be that? Unless it was heavily wooded, I could see you not being able to see someone in a split second, but not all the time. Like, you just turn around, they're gone.
Mm-hmm.
So that's creepy. But I don't know. I just feel like, well, what do you think it is?
I don't know. Honestly, I don't know. It's creepy. Like one of the survivors. Well, I wouldn't want to say survivor. He was walking in the woods. I guess his dog ran off or whatever, and he was walking, and then he felt like a gush of wind just on his face.
Yeah, I read about that one.
And he was like, "Okay, this is weird. I don't know what's going on." So he says ahead of him, it was just woods. Everything looked normal. But he stuck his hand out. He's like, where is this wind coming from? And his hand disappears. And it was like water. But his hand was dry, but his hand disappears. And he was like, nope, I'm out of here. Turns around and runs away. So maybe it's just like some people say another dimension. Some people say aliens.
Some people say he's a liar.
Yeah.
I mean, like.
And some people say it's cave people.
Oh my gosh. The cave people. Yeah, I actually did not know about. I mean, I knew that I've watched movies about, crazy people that live off the beaten path and kill people, like Wrong Turn.
The Hills Have Eyes.
Yeah, or
that
like Texas Chainsaw, stuff like that.
Yeah, that was like based off of truth, so.
But the cave systems where there's like families. Hills Have Eyes wasn't based off of a true story.
Yeah, it was about these people who ran off into the woods.
Oh wait, no, you're right. Sorry, I was thinking of Texas. Well, Texas Chainsaw Massacre is too, but but Texas Chainsaw isn't not based on a family. It's based on anyway. Okay, sorry. But like these people that live in caves, like there's a whole like
it was
other
Bigfoot.
species of people that live in. They're not like humans. That's what they say. They're like just this other species, like aliens or something that live in caves and like go out and I guess kill people in the woods. Is basically like how I read it.
Yeah, but their autopsies is like no blunt force trauma, no entry or outer wound, like
which is hypothermia.
That's why Emily says hypothermia.
Well, also because I think they show signs of hypothermia.
Yeah,
well,
yeah.
I mean, they've been in like especially the cold. Well, even if you're out in the elements for that long, any kind of exposure can kill you. So
yeah, and some of them did die of it, or dehydration,
right? Which will, but I mean, because hypothermia and dehydration will make you go nuts.
Yeah.
So will carbon monoxide poisoning. I found out that'll make you go nuts and act crazy, like paranoid and stuff. Which you can get from like driving in your car, apparently.
That's a little fun fact for you being out in the woods. You could get carbon monoxide poisoning.
Well, if you drove to the trail and your car had been giving you carbon monoxide poisoning, there was a guy on Unsolved Mysteries that like went missing from his car and they eventually found him and he died of exposure like in the woods.
How long was he in his car for him to get?
Well, it was like years, or maybe not years, but at least months. Every time he drove his car, it was like slowly poisoning him. Yeah.
Oh shit.
Yeah, that can happen like in your house and stuff.
Oh, yeah.
And people will think you're going crazy. Like you'll start getting like real paranoid and stuff like that. Like people have been sent to mental institutions and stuff, and then they find out that it was because they were like
poisoned.
Yeah.
Hey, maybe that is maybe.
I mean, probably not everything.
I don't think anybody has ever said that. I mean,
it's a good theory. I think probably not for most of these. I think most of these are probably hypothermia because there's something called paradoxical undressing that happens a lot of times when people are hypothermic. So I looked up the definition and it said it is concluded that paradoxical undressing might be explained by changes in peripheral vasoconstriction in deeply hypothermic people. It represents the last effort of the victim and is followed almost immediately by unconsciousness and death. This facilitates the transfer of heat, like taking their clothes off, facilitates the transfer of heat from the warm person to the person with hypothermia. This results in a kind of hot flash that makes victims of severe hypothermia who are already confused and disoriented feel as though they're burning up, so they remove their clothes. Researchers have concluded that that can happen a lot of times. Like most of the time when people are like severely hypothermic, that'll happen.
Yeah, but that still doesn't. What David doesn't understand is experienced hikers and hunters who have gone out and disappeared, and their friends and family are looking for them. And when you're a hunter, I was listening, and he says that hunters know, like, if you get lost or whatever, what you do, because you'll have your gear on you, is you shoot off 3 rounds, so your party will know where you are, so they can find you. And then if you're still lost, like an hour later, you shoot off another 3 rounds. They didn't do that.
Well, I think that a lot of times, even with people that are really experienced, when they go into these national parks, almost every time I've read about something that happened in a national park, there are areas of that park that no one really goes into, that they haven't, put trails in and stuff, and it's really easy to get turned around and lost in them, even for experienced people. And some really experienced hikers, I think, sometimes might think, oh, well, I know what I'm doing, and maybe not bring enough water or not wear the right clothes, because out in like the desert and stuff like that are, the temperatures are weird, and it'll be like hot during the day and then it'll just like drop. Yeah. And maybe they're just not ready for it, or they think they're going to be back sooner and they end up getting lost. And then I don't know. But
yeah,
I also
like
read that
happens. But like, how do you be on a trail with someone and then all of a sudden they disappear?
Yeah,
like
no, I don't understand that one. The only thing that I could think of is if maybe there was like a drop off or something like that you can't see because there are leaves covering it, and then they fall in, like they fall, and then they can't get out, or like they fall down like a ravine or something like that.
And then like they search for these people in the same spot, like 20 times, 30 times. They search for them for months or even years, and then like months or years later, the people that disappear show up dead in a spot that has already been searched dozens of times.
I know. Bigfoot found them after they died, and he was like, I'm going to be nice. And he takes them and puts them where people will find them and folds their clothes.
What about
or the cave people.
What about their puke that's next to them?
Well,
not all of them, but some.
He carries it with him in a bowl and puts it under. I don't know. I also read, too, that suicidal people fold their clothes a lot of times before they kill themselves. Yeah, it's just a thing. So there are some people that probably go out there to kill themselves. And
well, then that would just take me back to Cindy James then, which she went.
She didn't fold her clothes or anything,
but she went grocery shopping.
Well, but they fold their clothes because they don't want to cause they like to I don't know. It's like for things to be not as messy as, they don't want people to find them as messy or something. I don't know. Why would you buy folding clothes is a lot different than buying groceries. Because why would you buy groceries for a ghost? I mean,
I still don't think you would fold your clothes, but like,
well, I just read that people, not in the woods, even like everywhere. Like a lot of times, people will like fold their clothes before they kill themselves. I don't know why they take off their clothes though. So.
Well, then I think they need to go reinvestigate. Maybe they really didn't, and somebody forced them to write them notes and fold the clothes.
Well, and there are serial killers that they've found out about that were working in national parks for a long, like decades, and they just now catch them. Like that Steven Steiner's brother that was a serial killer. He killed people in like Yosemite.
And it could be some rangers doing it.
It could be rangers doing it, yeah. I don't know. I mean, I feel like that would be the way to explain why you find their bodies
months later.
Like because in spots that are like people have looked already.
Some of them, like, okay, so like once you die, your body starts decomposing, especially in extreme weather conditions. Some of them, it's like they
Unless
just
it's really
died.
Cold.
Yeah, but some of them look like they just died
But
that day.
If it's really cold, it can slow your decomp for like a really long time.
It still does not explain how they already searched that spot and then you end up there.
Well, yeah, no, I don't understand that part.
And some that years later, whatever, they find the remains in that spot, but they already checked it. And
maybe they were alive when they were searching for him, and like they were just missing like deep in the woods, and by the time they were able to like crawl to a space where they had already searched for them, that's when they died.
Yeah, I mean, that is a good theory. Yeah.
I mean, I just thought of that because genius. Okay. But it reminds me of those 5 guys that went, the 5 guys that got lost in the woods.
With the radiation poison, is that what you're talking about?
These 5 guys that went to a basketball game. They played in a basketball game, and then they left. It's the something 5 in California. And they don't understand why any of them got it. Like, the car still had gas. Their car, they pulled it over or something, and...
Oh, yeah, and they don't know why they got out?
Yeah, they got out and they walked a really long way. One of them was found, like, in a shack, but he was real malnourished.
Oh, with the food?
He had, like, starved to death, but there was, like, food in a locked storage place, like, next door, which, I mean, he could have broken into.
Blair Witch, maybe.
Maybe it probably is the Blair Witch. Maybe. I think we just solved it.
Yeah, there you go. There we go.
They went to play hide and go Shriek in the woods.
Is that came?
And then they died. And it's Zach.
I said Zach.
No, it's Zach that's killing them.
Oh, I said that.
Oh, you did?
Yeah.
Yeah, Zach's out there like putting, I don't know, using berries for his lipstick and murdering people since he's real. Since he's a real person.
Oh,
but let's be real though. This David Paulides.
Mm-hmm, Dave Paulides, yeah. He went deep in the rabbit hole. If you guys want to, go right ahead.
And he does believe in Bigfoot. Let's like
you cannot let that go.
No, because that kind of discredits him a lot to me.
You romanticize.
Okay, yeah, I romanticize 80s slasher movies before they die. Thank you. It's before they die. And also, my character did not die. The one that I was when I would pretend, I was like, oh, that's me, because I was she wasn't sexy.
Judy,
yeah,
Judy.
She didn't die. So just saying.
Her hair though, ugh.
Oof. It's thick in all the wrong places.
I don't know, but I love these conspiracy theories, and I can think of about 1,000 things that could have happened. I mean, they could have gotten lost and they didn't search where they were, and then they stumbled back to the spot and died there from dehydration or hypothermia. I, on the other hand, believe something is out there.
Like cave people?
No, Bigfoot.
You do believe in Oh my
No,
God.
I don't believe in Bigfoot. That was a joke that you said that.
Yeah, it's like aliens.
Yeah, it could
or,
be aliens.
I mean, it really could be a cannibal cult. Like, I mean, the Hills
But
Have
they're
Eyes
not
kind of
eating
thing.
them.
Okay, well, when I said cannibal cult, I was just meaning the Hills Have Eyes. It could just be some, like, crazy family that doesn't want them near their cave home.
Then why are they just taking one but not the other?
What?
Why are they taking one and not the other? And why do their animals come back and they don't?
Because animals are smart.
Well, then why did the animals run off in the first place? The people wouldn't go. Some of them went and chased their animals because their animals ran off and then they disappeared.
Well, then, I mean, have you not seen Homeward Bound? They'll come back. Like Unsolved Mysteries, all those ones about animals that are like helping you find cancer in your body or whatever.
Yeah.
But I mean, maybe there are weird, like alien, like people living in caves that are like.
Because that guy who said he stuck his hand through, his dog ran through it.
That is crazy. I don't know about that.
His dog came back. What was it, like 2 weeks later?
Yeah, well, usually, I've heard about
extremely
dogs.
dehydrated.
Yeah, they usually try to come, or not usually. I don't know that, but I've heard stories about where they come.
But the other strange thing is that there's always like a body of water near too.
That's weird. I just don't know if I believe the guy. I mean,
David or the other?
No, the guy with the hand.
Oh,
like. Did he talk about what state he was in when this happened? Like, not state in America, but like what his...
state of mind?
Yeah.
Well, according to David...
Was he lost or...
According to David, some of them might have health issues or some kind of physical disability.
No, I mean this one guy specifically.
That's what I'm saying. So I don't know. He said most of them do.
Because I wonder if that guy had been lost. Like what? Because it's a lot different if that incident had happened as soon as he started hiking, or if it happened after he had been lost for 3 days and hadn't had any water. You know what I mean?
Well, according to him and his friend were camping. Stupid. Why camp? I just think it's stupid. And
we're gonna get killed over this.
I
be like, we like to camp.
No, I had a horrible experience. It was just awful.
No,
I don't like
ground.
it. Yes, and then the
Gross.
bugs. I just, But like him and his friend, they were camping, and the dog runs off. Dude goes chase his dog, and he's chasing his dog. His dog goes stray. You know, he feels the gush of wind. He sticks his hand in. It just, that's what happened.
So his dog ran into the other dimension. I just wonder if this guy had been, was it this is the beginning of his hike, or was it like he had been
he was chasing the dog and the dog ran ahead of him, and then he felt the gush of wind.
I know, but like when in the hike did this happen? Because he could have been already starting to have like signs of hypothermia if he had, or signs of dehydration.
No, he was only gone for like an hour.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and then he turned back around and was like, after that he was like, nope, okay, bye, Buster, forget you. But
so wait, did you say he was with a friend?
Yeah,
or just he was with someone else too?
Yeah, his friend was like, okay, where are they? And then
he turned around. I thought the guy's his hand was the only thing that.
Yeah, he only stuck his hand through it, and then when his hand disappeared, he was like, okay,
bye.
No, I'm turning around, forget you, Buster. And I don't know the dog's name, but and then goes back to his friend, and dude was like, I've only been, I haven't been gone that long. He's like, you were gone for like an hour or two, something like that. He wasn't gone that long.
Was his friend like near him when he walked away?
Yeah, his friends, they both seen the dog run into the woods.
So did his friend see his hand disappear?
No, his friend didn't walk with him. He just got up and chased after his dog. His friend stayed at camp.
Okay, so he got to a certain point.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, he wasn't too, I guess, I don't know if he was too far in the woods, but he can't figure out where he was in the woods.
But I can see that being hard to figure out anyway. You know what I mean? Like, when you get deep into, well, apparently I don't do this. But when you, there is so much area in a lot of national forests that are not for hiking. Like, it's just like trees, and no one really, it's not for you to go into really, and it's easy, like it kind of all would end up looking the same, I feel like. And
I really believe I would be the one that would disappear, because I'm like, oh, this is off limits, let's go look.
Well, I feel like it would be easy for me to get into the middle of like, if I didn't realize it and I was like chasing my dog or something like that, and so you're not really like paying attention, and they go off the trail. And you get like a certain amount. Well, I wouldn't get that far because I wouldn't be able to run that far. But let's say I could. And you get like, a mile in or something like that. And then you don't know. Everything looks the same. So it's hard to know even which way you came from.
It's not all, but some of them. And that's what happened is their animal runs off and they go and chase their animal. Some of them did come back. Most of them didn't. Their animals do though, and their animals always come back dehydrated.
Well, they would,
but there's water nearby.
But a lot of times, maybe some animals wouldn't drink out of it though, or are scared of it. Like my dog's, she's scared of the lake. She won't go near it.
I'm not a dog person either. Don't come at me.
I mean, she doesn't like. He used to be afraid of his food bowl, so I don't.
I'm just saying though, if like a dog runs into the woods, I'm not chasing it. That's just me personally.
Yeah, there are definitely some weird things about this, but I think for the most part, I think it can be explained. Not especially, but even with seasoned hikers and hunters and stuff like that, I think no matter how good you are at it, I think it would be really easy to find yourself lost if you go into an uncharted area.
Oh, yeah.
And then at that point, if you can't get out and you're walking around for days, especially if it gets cold at night and maybe you brought water for 2 days, but you don't have it for 4.
Well, you better ration that out.
Yeah, but I mean, like,
If I'm lost and I only have 2 bottles of water,
what was
and
that? To build a fire. Have you not ever read that short story? To build a fire with that like seasoned. It's
no, I'm taking very small sips, extremely small sips of that 2 bottles of water.
Well, I think also with seasoned hikers and stuff, they probably are like more likely to think they know what they're doing. You know what I mean? Like they're like, "Well, I have it. I'm fine." And then they realize 2 days in they're like, "Oh my god, I'm in the middle of this like uncharted area of the forest and I'm like 2 miles in and I have no idea how to get out and I thought I had enough."
What if the experienced hikers are like, okay, well, because there's markers when you go on hikes and trails and stuff. What if, like, whoever's doing this, like the aliens, are like trying to confuse
the cave people?
the cave people, aliens, the other dimension.
Yeah.
It's like they're walking and they see the markers and they get off the trail, and that's how they disappear.
Well, I think, especially when it comes to people like that, they're more likely to go off the trail because.
No, I'm saying they're on the trail or whatever because there's markers. There's like red
I'm just saying,
X's
seasoned people are more likely to go off the trail because they're like, I know what I'm doing. So.
But what if they're like, we're going to stick to this trail, and there's like, okay, here's a marker up here, a couple of feet, and it's the
markers
wrong
are
way.
for babies. But okay, so they
you
get up
don't
to
even
the
go hiking.
I know, but I mean, I might not even stay on the trail. I'll be like, I want to be rebellious.
That would be mean. They're
And
like, you can't go here, and I'm like, well.
And then you step into Camp Crystal Lake with the Hills Have Eyes cave people.
I'm like, come on, Emily, let's go explore over here. That would definitely be, especially if there's like an unmarked grave.
Or like, I heard there was a dead body in here.
Let's go. Like, there's an unmarked grave site over here. Let's go. And I'm like, yeah.
Well, I do think people underestimate how much area is not for hiking in those places. I don't know why my phone's going off. It's on silent. So that's that. Sorry, guys. But I lost my train of thought.
I don't even know.
So we're back. I still don't understand why my phone was going off. But anyway, I was saying, I think people underestimate how much we have left to discover or, make trails and stuff in the national forest, because it's not like you can just go through and sweep an entire area like that, because a lot of it, the reason that there are no trails and stuff there is because it's impossible because of like there are cliffs and ravines and stuff like that. So I think that we kind of think about hiking in in the areas like you see it, this trail, but there's like so much more out there. So I think people probably just get lost. I don't know how they get. The only thing I can think of is that they are trying to get back, and that's when they die or something like that.
I mean, yeah, that could be. I don't know. I just think it's very, very strange. Very strange.
I mean, there's a kid that died well, I don't know if he's dead, but I read this book about disappearances in the Great Smoky Mountains, which is really good and creepy. But there was this little boy that went missing, and I think he was like slow. He was like a little bit, back in the 20s or 30s or something. He was like mildly disabled, I think. And he went missing. They've never found him. And what a lot of people think is that there are a lot of places where it looks like you can walk on it, but it'll just be a big pile of like leaves will be covering like a big ditch like down, and it goes really far down. And if you were to fall in there and hit your head and get unconscious or whatever, like people would never find you in there.
That sounds like a trap. Like someone made a trap.
Well, I mean, but it's not a trap. It's like a natural thing, I think.
Yeah. That's what you think. It could be the aliens.
Well, it could be the cave people's traps.
Bigfoot.
Bigfoot creates traps.
Yeah, well, this has been going on for decades. David talks about how long it's been going on and says that there's about 14
forever,
to 6.
Probably.
Yeah.
As long as like people have been, I mean, that happened in the 20s, a little boy. So it's, I mean, probably
Yeah.
forever.
And
Yeah.
Bobby
Like,
was in the
when they
50s?
started the national park system is probably when it started happening.
Well,
Teddy Roosevelt.
he said that there's about 14 to 1600 cases of disappearances. But Emily was telling me that what was it that who went and was the Rangers was like, well, we don't keep track or something like that. It could be more.
Yeah. So I liken it kind of. I don't want to start a thing. This has nothing to do with my opinions on guns, okay? But I liken it to how they do background checks for guns. When you get a background check for a gun, you go through this process, and it's through the FBI. But the FBI expects each state to give them information on criminals. So there are some states that are not as good at it. They don't send as much, or they just don't care as much. So like if you committed a murder in a certain state that isn't really good about sending that information into the FBI, you probably could buy a gun and it would never come up on your check. So there's a system kind of like that after 9/11 that they put into place. I can't remember what it's called. So
it was something. It started with an N.
It starts with an I.
Oh.
Yeah, it's like Imgur or something like that. Let's see. EMARS or IMARS, something like that. It's a digital database for incident and criminal reports. So when it was established, it would enable all interior law enforcement agencies to use a common department-wide reporting and records management system that could provide secure, accurate, reliable, and timely law enforcement information necessary to more effectively carry out Interior's public safety, homeland security, and resource protection missions. But the article goes on to say, today it's notoriously loathed by government staff. It's allegedly buggy and poorly made. It has a tendency to create duplicate entries and is tedious to search. So the U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service has entirely refused to use it. And then it went on to say that the whole system needs to be thrown out. The technical side sucks and is less intuitive, but the accountability is shoved onto street-level supervisors to check that people are doing their job. None of it's automated. Every park has its own special semi-autonomous fiefdom. That's what it says there. I don't know. In other words, each park can decide who will lead a missing persons case, and if that ends up being local law enforcement, that's usually where the records will be. And then it said a spokesperson for a major national park once told the person writing the article it wasn't their responsibility to keep such files, and that person had asked for a list of missing persons there in that national park, and the question baffled them. Obviously, you should go to the sheriff's office, they said, and they weren't evasive about telling this person that it wasn't their problem. So they don't even really keep good record, or they don't. I guess there's no one place that they keep the records of these people anyway.
I mean, so it could be a whole lot more than what David thinks, since there's really not a good record.
He also believes in Bigfoot. I'm not getting over that.
I like author. I mean, he went in depth with his research enough that
he did do good research on.
So just take the fact that he believes in Bigfoot. Just take that out.
I just think that because of that, he the stories are a little bit biased. Like he's a little too eager to believe certain things.
Well, and maybe there's more evidence that makes it weird or strange that he doesn't really talk about in it. Maybe he can't or something.
Or maybe there's more evidence that it does make sense that he doesn't want to explain because it doesn't go with his this is weird theory.
I mean, most police officers are cynical. So I don't know. I just think that, because him being a former police officer and him going to other police officers and asking, they are more forthcoming with him because, he's one of them.
Yeah, I believe some of this stuff. I just think that there are probably more times than not, I think there's a logical explanation. Now, there probably are some that, there are some weird things definitely about it.
And he does say that there is, that number is like significantly low because this is like decades. Like how many people do disappear? It's really not like 14 to 1600. It's been over decades of it. Right. So how many disappear? Like, but then again, some of the national parks or forests doesn't really report. I'm assuming,
and I'm sure he does know that probably the majority of these people got lost.
Yeah.
I mean, it has to be. And a lot of times they're never found. So.
Well, I think that he did his research and took the ones that just got lost or the ones that fell and hurt themselves or, stuff like that out of the equation.
Yeah, right.
I mean, come up with your own theory or whatever, watch the movie for Missing 411 or pick up one of his books.
Yeah, Missing 411 is free and it's not a long movie either. It's only like an hour or something like that. Yeah, it's not very long.
Isn't it on like Netflix?
It's on YouTube.
I know it's on YouTube.
I don't know if it's on Netflix. I watched it on YouTube.
Okay, yeah. That's where I watched it at. It was on YouTube. But there's like so many of them. He can only pick certain cases to talk about for the movie. I guess just if you want to hear more about a certain person that you've heard about, pick up the book that it could be in.
Yeah, and I also highly recommend that Disappearances in the Great Smoky Mountains, especially. If you live in Tennessee, especially because there's one about this woman that's totally creepy, and I'm not going to go into it because we don't have time, but it's like real creepy. So, do you think that we should end by talking about what our next episode is going to be about? Because it's going to be cool.
Yes, we can.
Okay, because it's not going to come out on. We're doing these every 2 weeks, and there's always going to come out on Tuesdays, except for the one that's going to come out on Friday the 13th in November. And we will be doing the whole episode about Friday the 13th.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So, because we do have a interview with one of the cast members of Part 2, Russell Todd, and it's so awesome, and he's so hot, so... Yes.
She has been, oh my gosh,
so excited. So after this episode, the next episode will be on November 13th, which is a Friday, and then we'll pick back up again doing our every 2 weeks on Tuesdays. So the one after that will be on the 23rd of November, or not the 23rd, the 24th. So
yeah, and
we'll be discussing Angela Hammond, and I don't know what movie you're gonna pick, but
haven't decided yet.
So
I have plenty of time.
Yeah, you do. So, all right. Well, thanks for listening. And like we told you earlier, it's on the Instagram as well. You can send us feedback at our Gmail, which is fullbodyfrights@gmail.com, or anything you want to hear us talk about. Or you can direct message us on Instagram. Please follow us. Our name is Full Body Frights, no spaces, all lowercase, on Instagram. And we do put some extra like pictures and stuff from the stuff we talk about on there. And you can get on our Facebook group. It's called Scary Movies All Night Long. And we do like watch parties and we do trivia contests on the 20. Well, yeah. I don't know when the next one will be after the Nightmare on Elm Street one because we haven't done that one yet. But this will come out after that. So
okay, yeah. And hopefully we can get everything fixed so we can just get the podcast on YouTube as soon as possible.
Yes. And without it messed up because I messed it up this time. So anyway, thank you for listening and we'll catch you next time.
Bye.